What's going on, everybody? I am with Ricky Gutierrez, roommate, friend, really good friend, stock trader, car enthusiast.
Yep.
So I'm just here to talk to you about your first car flip, what got you into it, what you liked about it, and basically your experience with it.
Yeah, so this guy freaking cracks you. One of my first car flips, for all those that are part of Flipping Wheels, you guys already know kind of like what that's going to be. It was the 2012 or 2013 Honda Civic. So I told you guys that the day that I turned 18, my brother assisted me in buying my first car. So I bought it through insurance, auto auctions. So for all those that are familiar that have a dealer's license, my brother was a car dealer. So I was able to go that route and bid on cars online. And I remember that we closed the highest bid on a 2013 Honda Civic. It was around $2,000, and he helped me, you know, I put down the money, but to me, it was kind of like, just imagine like someone that's very knowledgeable in that space that literally does it for a living, and like, hey, I'm gonna like help you throughout this entire process and just make sure that we get a good deal and show you kind of the ropes. So I wasn't really like scared to invest that money, just because I knew that he did this for a living. He obviously wasn't going to buy something if it was not a good deal. So I had that luxury, and I think that's the really cool thing kind of like about like Flipping Wheels. So the reason that I think that's so important is like whenever it is that you're getting started in a new market, it's super useful to have someone that's already knowledgeable in the space to kind of walk you through it, so you don't necessarily have to make all the same mistakes that they did. That's the really cool part about being a part of, in my opinion, Flipping Wheels, is that you have a mentor like Weston, you have a mentor like Caleb, that you literally send the deals that you find within your area and they verify them. So I had my brother that assisted me in finding that car, right? I would not have purchased it or have known to purchase it for the $2,000 or bid that amount. And when it came down to repairing it, because I bought it through insurance auto auction, so that there's a bunch of salvage title cars. This car was pretty badly wrecked. I bought it for $2,000, but I put about $4,000 initially to be able to get it up to par where we could restore the title and have it up for sale.
You yourself did? Or
well, no, my brother literally showed me like where he bought all the parts, what we needed, and did like.
So did he help you put it all together and like fix it?
No, I mean, he has a dealership, right? So he showed me the list of parts that the body shop said were needed.
Okay, and then you just incorporated that into your price, and then
like the overall, like my initial investment of the $2,000. On top of that, there was about $4,000 of repair costs. So just to put it into perspective, it's like a 200% like on top of the initial investment. So that was the little like scary part, because again, I was like, oh, I bought the car for $2,000. Why am I spending $4,000
on just parts?
On just parts. It's not even the car. To me, it just didn't make sense. But again, he reassured me of like what it's sell
worth when it's fixed.
Yeah, what it's worth when it's fixed, what it could sell for, even with that salvage title. And again, if you're not comfortable with salvage title cars, trust me, if it was not for my brother, neither would I. But we were able to buy it for a really good deal. We built a large enough profit margin where it still made sense to be able to repair it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So that was my first experience being able to like buy the car. I have to give it to him. He literally did everything. He handed it to the body shop. That body shop took care of like inspecting it, making sure they put a list of everything that was needed. And with that list, my brother just continued to keep me up to date with the whole process of like where he was buying it, how much he was buying those parts for, and what it was, racking up to. And then I just had to make sure that I paid for it at the very end of it when it ended up selling. I ended up selling within like a month.
What'd you sell it for?
$8,000 to $9,000, because I know that the profits were split 50-50, and literally like my brother did not need to do that because he literally found the car. He's the one that came up with what he wanted to buy it for. He literally did all the work, but he just wanted to like spark my interest in this market of investing in cars. And it was because of that sole purchase that then I became more interested in not just kind of like the higher volume cars, but even though that's how I started. But I remember then when I bought my 2013 Dodge Dart, bought it through insurance auto auctions, same thing there, looked for all the parts,
Was that Accord or Civic?
Yeah, Civic.
Was that Civic what got you like hooked in a sense?
It's not the Civic, but it's the idea that like you could make so much money with just like investing in cars, right? So like I at that point had, I think, a Toyota like 4Runner, and it was like a 2004, something like that. It was not a super nice car or anything like that, but I remember I was driving that, and the Honda Civic to me was like a beautiful car, especially when it was like fully repaired and how nice it was. I was like, I could drive that car, enjoy it, and then, you know, if I end up selling it, great. If not, then I know I at least could break even. So it started with that initial idea of like, wow, like, you know, I could even do this in a smaller scale. And then leading up to that, then I did that with like my Dodge Dart, which I had for about a year. And then after I made about, if I'm not mistaken, 1,000 or 1,500 after selling it. After having the Dodge Dart for a year, salvage title, restored it fully, all that stuff with the help of my brother. And then after that, I bought a Ford Mustang. That one was a clean title. I bought it for a good deal, had it for about a year, broke even on that one, and then had a 2013 Genesis 3.8 R-Spec, salvage title, restored it, bought it, and then was able to flip it for $4,500 profit.
That's good.
Yeah, and then after that, I had a couple different like cars within like a 3-year span. That's when I was moving from California to Arizona, and a couple months later, I bought my house, and then a couple months later after that, I bought my GTR. And one of the goals that I had for a lot of people whose goal is to like buy a GTR or to buy like whatever your sports car, your dream car is, I was obviously a huge car enthusiast, and I knew that I could kind of like invest my way up to have enough capital then to one day be able to buy the GTR outright. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't care. At one point, like when I had my Mustang, I thought I was super cool. I was making decent money. I was working for that telecommunications store. I was still learning how to trade. And I was really just focusing on building that stable income. When I got to a point where, you know, I could almost afford the GTR, I was like, screw this, like I don't care about what car I'm driving. I'm just gonna like make sure that I find and focus. I focused the entire year.
Yeah.
Every car that I bought was not because of how it looked or anything like that, was because of the margin of profit. So I knew that within Arizona I had a legal limit of 4 cars, and I wanted to make sure every car that I invested in that I would enjoy, but on top of that, and most importantly, that the margin of profit would be worth it in an effort to like a couple months down the road, if a buyer were to come around, then I can at least sell it for a profit. Again, you have 4 opportunities to, you know, make money, and I just wanted to make the most of it while making sure that I had a reliable car to get me from point A into point B, and that was while I was working and going to school full time. So again, I used kind of that last year leading up to my purchase of the GTR just to make sure that every single car that I bought a Ford Focus, I bought a Jetta, I think I might have bought 2 Ford Focuses, and then I bought a Subaru WRX 2016, and every single car that I bought, the margin was worth it in my eyes. And you know, a couple months down the road, bought the GTR, and was able to make, I think, $2,000 after owning it for about a year with the GTR.
That's good. Yeah, so that's the biggest misconception that I like always grew up with, was I always heard like the worst thing to invest in is a car. Like I always heard that. So whenever I was able to figure out like how to profit from them, regardless of what I was doing, I thought it was so cool to just be able to like kind of like not like get around something that's always been taught to people that you can't. I don't know why that was so interesting to me, but
yeah, it's because like I don't want to say that it's like a misconception, because 100%, just like buying shoes, it could be one of the, like it'll depreciate in value right away. Yeah, but then there's shoes like Yeezys or whatever those shoes are. You can literally wear them and still make money on top of them. Yeah. Same thing when it comes down to cars. The thing that like, again, there's going to be very narrow-minded people that will tell you that a car is not an investment, and in the traditional standpoint, I 100% agree. It's not. But again, if you're watching this video, it's for a reason, because you're not like the average person. And with whatever, if you're within the United States, there's a legal limit of whatever cars it is that you can register under your name. And I would use that to my power to empower me to make sure that every car that I buy, that I'm knowledgeable about, that I'm going to enjoy, and that the margin of profit is worth it, or the overall opportunity cost is worth it, just to make sure that it's slowly moving you to your end goal, right? You can take that full first year to learn about the market, dabble in it, see if it's something that you want to be a part of. And if you end up, like, let's say on average making $2,000 per flip, and you have like $5,000 to start off with, you know, an extra $8,000 at the end of the year, staying within like the legal limit within your state and enjoying the whole process. If you guys love kind of staying active, if you guys have a passion for cars, and if you guys like making money and enjoying like what it is that you are investing in, I think it would just be like a very interesting thing for people to dabble into, or just to learn more about, regardless if they want to flip car, or learn more about investing in cars, or if they want to like, you know, invest in phones or invest in MacBooks. One of the biggest things is like, yes, everything that you buy traditionally, you're going to lose money on.
Right.
What is it that you're going to implement that is going to set you apart? If there's businesses, dealerships that are making money off these cars, then there's no reason that you can't do that in a smaller scale. It's that simple. If people are doing it and if there's a transaction happening, someone is benefiting from it.
Right.
And if you learn about that market and you become more familiar with it, that's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship and investing. You simply need to learn about the market, how to profit on it, and if you enjoy the process, then great. You just found a new market where you don't have to do that many. And even if you make like, let's say $1,000, right? Just with one car that you sell within the year, it's an extra $1,000 that you did not have, and you enjoyed the car throughout that entire process.
And you can still work your 9 to 5. Like it's all the work's up front.
Regardless of what you're doing, it's I think a market to learn more about. You're gonna buy a car in the future. Why not learn how to negotiate, find good deals, and understand overall market value for what it is that you're buying or investing in? Because if you treat it as an investment, your overall perception of that item or product will be completely changed.
100%, 150%. I thought the same thing. Yeah.
But
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much my experience with my first flip. I've shared it multiple times for all those that are part of Flipping Wheels, as that's a very common, people think that because I have my McLaren 720S now, the GTR, the Maserati, and the BMW M3, that they think that oh, I just started flipping or investing in higher end cars. Definitely not the case. I started with higher volume cars.
You've done motorcycles.
Yeah, I absolutely love
like $3,500 motorcycles, nothing crazy.
$1,500 motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sold them for 35 almost.
Yeah,
right?
30, you just have to understand, with those, just like cars, there's high volume cars and motorcycles. A lot of the high volume motorcycles, in my experience in my area, go for about $3,000 to $4,000. There's a smaller market for those that want to spend more and for those that want to spend less, usually something's going on with that motorcycle, or they're the smaller CC, right? Smaller engine. I found this little niche where that was really with me and my roommates.
I've done this, yeah.
That was what we were focusing on. We absolutely, there's a point where we each had 2 motorcycles and we just absolutely had a blast. We would go to this barbecue place every single Friday. It was just we had a good time with it, and we were enjoying the process and making money on top of it. And again, if you have a passion for it, great. If not, then maybe it's something that you can learn about, but you don't have to necessarily implement. It's just, again, spending your time this 2019 to try to empower yourself to learn something new and see how it can benefit you in the future. That's the beautiful thing about what it is that you guys do and Flipping Wheels. If you guys want to become more familiar with what they do every single day with the Flipping Wheels group, they're going to be hosting this live Q&A section where pretty much Weston and Caleb go live every single day for those that are part of Flipping Wheels. They answer questions, they verify deals, they recap their deals, the money that they made and stuff like that. If you guys simply want to become more familiar, if it at all just even sparks your interest and learning more about investing in cars and stuff like that, I would encourage you. It's literally going to be a 30 to 45 minute live stream. It's 100% live, 100% for free. You guys can click that first link in the description. We'll make sure that we put it there for you and learn a little bit more about the live Q&A for Flipping Wheels, learn a little bit more about what you could experience every single day, and maybe we could just verify some deals and answer some of your questions when it comes down to investing in cars. Trust me, if you're someone that's going to be buying a car in the next couple of months or the next couple of days, or even within the year, this could save you a couple $100. And it's that simple. It's what's your time worth? It might be worth absolutely nothing, or it might be one of the best things that you might, invest 30 to 45 minutes to. So thank you again for having me.
Awesome. Loved it.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Boom, boom, boom.